Hello everyone. Today I will be talking to you about the varying efficacies of different treatments for GAD, formerly known as Generalized Anxiety Disorder. Now, first let's talk about what is GAD. GAD is the most general form of anxiety disorder, and its sufferers spend about 60% of their days, on average, with anxiety symptoms. And this disorder can often be caused by a stressful event, such as finishing school and having to start a career, the death of a loved one, or something as simple as taking a particularly stressful test. And a lot of other anxiety disorders stem from GAD and therefore also accompany GAD. And these disorders include things like panic disorder and phobia disorder. And this little guy right down here is a typical sufferer of GAD with a panic disorder as well, having a panic attack. And so these symptoms are really caused by our fight or flight response, which in many situations is no longer an effective response to stress. So these feelings are not appropriate for what we are actually doing, and our brain doesn't know that. And speaking of brain, I'm going to now talk about why and what is happening in the brain. So in most cases, you'll see with the normal brain, most people, normal people, are fairly evenly spread, and nothing is super active. You see with the anxiety disorder brain that areas at the center and the back of the brain are very, very active. And that area in the center is near the thalamus, which is responsible for senses. And so panic attack will put someone into this kind of overactive sensory mode, for lack of a better term. But also, while this is happening during a panic attack, the frontal lobe starts to shut down almost, and can cause a very significant state of confusion for the sufferer, which can, in turn, make the panic attack worse. And now that we're done talking about what GAD is, let's talk about some treatments. First off, the traditional forms of therapy. And these include medication and CBT, otherwise known as cognitive behavioral therapy. And these two are probably the most effective combination of therapies that I'm going to talk to you about today. They're widely considered to be the most effective. There's also another form of therapy similar to CBT that usually accompanies it, called systematic desensitization, which is also used to treat GAD, but is more used to treat phobia disorders. And the process of systematic desensitization is introducing the individual to what is stressing them gradually, more and more over time, to desensitize them to that stressor. And here we have what is generally thought to be the chain of events for a stressful situation, and CBT focuses on the second part in this chain, which is thoughts, and how you can control your thoughts to prevent yourself from having major anxiety and having to flee from a situation. Okay, next we're going to talk about some more of types of medicines that are used to treat anxiety. So the main type of medication for treating anxiety is antidepressants, and there are several types of antidepressants. There are tricyclics, selective serotonin reuptake inhibitors, also known as SSRIs, serotonin norepinephrine reuptake inhibitors, try saying that 3 times fast, also known as SNRIs, and monoamine oxidase inhibitors, MAOIs. So tricyclics, in general, are fast-working, but have some fairly, I won't say serious, but they have much worse side effects than SSRIs, which are the most common form of antidepressant, and due to their low addictiveness and their low amount of side effects, along with being just as effective as most other treatments. SNRIs are very potent, but are used usually as supplements to SSRIs, and not as standalone treatment because they can become very addictive. And MAOIs come in 2 forms. Irreversible, which has many side effects and is no longer commonly used, and reversible MAOIs, which are very similar in terms of effectiveness and side effects to SSRIs. With that being said, about all of these have the same effectiveness at treating anxiety, but they have varying side effects, and so an individual looking to treat anxiety would need to talk with their doctors about what side effects and what treatments they want to do, and they are willing to go through. And here are 4 pill bottles with the different abbreviations under them. Next, now that we've gone through all of the traditional treatments, we're going to talk about alternative and supplementary therapies. So a lot of these alternative therapies don't really work. Either there is no evidence in clinical studies that have been done that show that they are any better than placebos, or they haven't been shown to, they haven't been the subject of a clinical study. So there's no evidence to support the claims that they make. But that being said, there are a few effective ones. Kava, which is this root right here, which is usually ground up and mixed into a drink, although now you can get it as a supplement, has been shown to be effective in treating anxiety, but is not recommended for use due to cases of liver failure believed to be caused by kava. Now, the next form of therapy is acupuncture, and acupuncture is on its own not a very successful therapy, only having about 20% efficacy, but when used in combination with other therapies, it can go as high as 55 to 60 and upwards % efficacy. Exercise is also very helpful. It just allows a person to expend a lot of nervous energy and also reorganizes the neurotransmitters in the brain. And then meditation is used most well in conjunction with CBT, as it focuses on the thought process and how we need to think in certain situations. With that being said, a lot of these supplements are good secondary or supplementary treatments, and you should always consult a doctor before using anything, except maybe exercise, because we should all do that. Thank you for listening, and thank you for watching. Bye.